going to turn my phone on fucking silent, and then we're going to fucking do it. Okay, Paris, are you all set? How are you feeling? Are you doing good?
I'm good. I have some apple cider. I'm doing great.
Bitch. Paris. I'm drinking apple cider, except I poured wine in mine.
What?
Yeah,
Wait,
I did.
What kind? Is it like a mulled wine?
It's like red wine. So I took Trader Joe's like spiced apple cider, and then I poured red wine, and I nuked that bitch for 2 minutes. So it's like hot, boozy cider.
Man, that
it's like
sounds
fall sangria.
Interesting.
It's really good. I don't know why you're the second person to sound skeptical about it, but I'm a little.
Is this gonna be in the episode?
Well,
yeah.
it
Sorry,
was.
we were starting. Yeah.
Until you talked.
That's a sick recipe for the fans.
Thank you. Thanks, Max. Should we pretend that we didn't hear him talk and just keep going, and then we introduce him, or should? I think we should just keep talking.
We've never done this before. I don't know.
We're gonna keep talking, and I'm gonna leave that interruption in there.
Okay.
And it's just gonna be a good time.
Let me move. Sorry, my camp chair is in the wrong position.
Oh my God.
I'm so sorry. I don't have a nice desk chair like you have, Falyn. I have a steady Eddie. My camp chair has short legs so that my legs can extend. Okay, it's like I am literally like 2 inches off the ground right now.
Bitch, do not come for me. Do not come for me.
In your cozy little desk with your clean ass keyboard. I saw that you cleaned your keyboard on Instagram. It looks great.
Thank you. I thought you would appreciate that. I didn't think that
I was proud of
you'd
you.
be a hater. Thank you. It was disgusting. Yeah.
It was. You posted that picture. There were like mothballs like in between the keys.
For the record, I set up my desktop, and Casper gave me a keyboard to use, and that keyboard was too small for me, and the keys were in a weird spot. I hated it. I could not copy and paste with ease. And so I like went into his office and I was like, different keyboard. I want different keyboard. And so he gave me the one that he uses, which was infinitely more disgusting. And so as I was like typing away, I was like, I'm going to get tetanus and AIDS and all other manner of diseases from this thing. And so over the weekend, I was like, it's time. Bust out the Q-tips. And it was really satisfying.
How long did that take you?
It was worth it. It took us like half hour maybe.
Oh, wow. That's
because you like pop off the keys and then you clean it.
Oh, I didn't know that the keys come off.
Yeah. So we popped off the keys and I put them kind of in sections based off of how the keyboard is arranged. And so it was easier to like put them back on. So it probably took I'd say like 45 minutes.
Are you telling me that potentially I could pop off all of Brady's keys and then rearrange them on his keyboard as a fun prank? He's giving me a dirty look.
That is exactly what I'm saying. And I honestly, Paris, you don't even have to.
He's just ripping off keys and showing them to me. He's just pulling keys off his keyboard. Stop that. Oh, that's so weird. I didn't know that the keys come off.
Yeah, they come off. And really what you could do is just something simple. Like, you don't have to take all of them off. You could just swap a couple.
What if I, like, took and hid the E?
Yeah. And then he would have to press this little tiny mechanism instead of a full key, and that would be annoying.
Do you know how pissed Brady would be if I, like, took his E? He would be so mad. Maybe I should. That's a good prank. I like it.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Paris, here we are again. I've missed this. A week feels like a very long time.
I was going to say it's only been 7 days, but I miss it too. I've been working a lot and it's been dragging on, so I've missed this also.
Do we get a brief update on the Pete Chronicles?
Oh, yeah. So I've been working kind of later. I had a couple shifts that were in the afternoon, and so there were like 2 days where I didn't actually have to see Pete, which was really nice. But he's come in since, and surprisingly, he's like he's been minding his manners, which is good. I still feel like really uncomfortable when I see him, but he hasn't like asked to take me out on dates again, so that's good.
That's
and
great.
he stopped asking like what time I get off of work, and like, you know, what he did ask me today. He's like, so do you have a car? And I was like, yeah. Like, why are you asking me that? And I just like changed the subject, and then was like throwing myself into my work to make myself look really busy. But I do not go out of my way to make conversation with him anymore, but he still like comes out and talks to me, but I try to keep our conversations really brief, because while he does seem pretty friendly, he really like, something just feels off. Like he just really makes me uncomfortable. So I just try not to talk to him anymore. So hopefully he just goes away. I don't know.
Yeah, I hope so too. I still am like, I'll kill him, you know.
You fly out here.
Yeah, my first murder. Yay. Yeah, no, I just don't want him to turn into a stalker is like my biggest concern.
Yeah, me too. Which is like
I'm
why
glad that
when it kind of freaked me out even more when he was like, so you have a car? Because I'm like, I do have a car, and it's the only white Subaru with Oregon plates in the parking lot, and like, you know that I'm from Oregon, and it just like really is weird. But I don't know, I think we talked about this before. Maybe that's overthinking it. Maybe it's just me trying to prepare myself for the worst. So, you know, like you said, you did say, at worst case scenario, I was prepared. So
yes. Yeah, exactly. So whatever. Well, I'm glad that you haven't been, followed yet. I'm glad that he has halted his intense advances. That makes me feel good. Better. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
What about you? How have you been?
Good. No one harassing me except for, I wore a skirt to work. It's like it's like just above the knee skirt, a black skirt, and like a button-up men's shirt, like a leisurely, like a thick cotton button-up. My Cuban dad shirt. It has a pocket up front. It was cute. It was a casual, like business casual. I feel like look.
I bet you
leisure
looked so cute.
Look. What's that?
I was just saying, I bet you looked so cute. I can imagine that outfit on you, and that'd be really cute.
Thank you. And I probably threw on some like dirty Nike slides just to top it off, to just understate the look. And I stood up. I sat down. I came in. I sat down, made small talk, and I stood up to go grab the files that I look at in the morning. And he goes, "You're wearing a skirt." And I said, "Yep." And he's like, "You're dressed like an adult." And I said, "I love it when you insult me." And he's like...
You said that to him?
Yes. And he's like, "I'm not insulting you." And I was like, "Come on." And he's like, No. I'm just saying you're dressed more formally." And I was like, how formally I dress does not determine how adult I am. And he's like, and it kind of fell off from there. But it was like, wow, like, you don't even understand. And, bro, compliments or comments are in the ear of the beholder, all right, dude? The way they're perceived falls upon the recipient, not the commenter, to determine. So if I'm saying that you offended me, it doesn't matter what your fucking intention was. So yeah, still having a good time, but that just like pissed me off, and doesn't help. Like, why do I care? Why do I care what he fucking thinks of me? Anyway, so yeah.
No, I mean, that reminds me of, have you seen that like little clip of, it's like Barbie, it's like a Barbie movie that just came out, and she is like explaining basically like gaslighting, which is what you're talking about, where like someone insults you and you're like, "Hey, that's insulting." And they say like, no, I didn't mean it that way. Like, you're taking it the wrong way. And so then like the blame is put on you instead of them accepting that they did something that hurt your feelings and they just need to be outright and apologize and move on.
Yes. But in the meantime, I've been reading this book, Paris. I've been reading this book that was that was recommended to us by our friend Max. And it's called... How do you say it, Paris?
Whoa, what was that?
Whoa, that sounded a lot like our friend Max.
Oh, that's me. Hi, guys.
Do you like boys with wings, or maybe horns or tails? Maybe you're into scales. Perhaps you want to be the lizard queen. Do you find yourself attracted to fictional characters, like maybe vampires? Do werewolves make you cream? Then welcome to our podcast. This is the place for you. Freaks and geeks are welcome, and weebs will take you to fantasy time starts now. Set sail to a land of books and joy and big dicks.
Hello!
Hi, Max.
Hey, how we doing?
Oh,
Good.
dandy. How are you, Maxwell?
Oh, I'm just relaxing at home, in the afterglow of a wonderful fantasy novel.
Oh, isn't that the best?
It is. It's wonderful.
Like the post-coital glow of finishing a book.
Yeah, exactly. Too much effort.
Too much effort. So this book, I pronounced it Sabriel. How did you guys pronounce it?
Sabriel.
Sabriel?
Well,
I don't know.
I can tell you how Tim Curry pronounces it.
Oh.
Which is Sabriel. And the reason why I know that is because I started reading this book, and then about halfway through, I was like, fuck, I do not have enough time to finish this book because I was really busy with work and other things. And so I downloaded the audiobook version that's read by Tim Curry, and I listened to it at like 1.3 speed so I could finish in time. But it was amazing. It was so nice to hear like Tim Curry read to me. It was beautiful. Much better than I read it in my head. So
like how far did you get reading it before Tim Curry took care of it for you from there on? Before Tim Curry took the reins.
I would say Sabriel, which is how I said it, but he says Sabriel. She is like in the Old Kingdom, just starting out her journey, and then I was like, I do not have enough time, and then I turned to Tim Curry, and he didn't let me down.
He never would.
What a smart play, though, Paris. I'm really impressed at that clutch move. That was
Thanks.
smart. That was smart. Way to stay dedicated to our timeline. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, you got the job done.
You got it done. Yeah, so I'm curious. I'm excited to compare notes on what it was like to have a narrator versus your own mind.
Okay. Yes.
So, yes, this book, Sabriel. I said Sabriel, but I don't know. I kind of like Sabriel. I don't know.
Well, if you say Sabriel, you have to roll your R.
Sabriel. So I almost rolled my L's. I don't know what was going to happen there. There was nowhere to go. So, Max, you recommended this book to us, and I was curious as to what are your origins with this book? How did you come upon it? What stuck you to it? What do you love about it? Tell us.
That's reasonable, and it's all very vague for me, I have to tell you, because I remember reading this in like 7th grade, getting my hands on this at the Walker Middle School library.
I do know, because we went to middle school together.
Indeed.
Yes. Max and I became friends in the 6th grade. We met in theater class, in drama, 6th period drama. Yes.
I was gonna say the name of our teacher, but I was like, maybe that's not. Don't have to. Just
I don't know if it's likely she'd even listen to this. So.
Well, yeah, but just like name a person who has no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got this book and I read I was trying to figure out where I dropped off originally because I finished it today, but I did not finish this book originally when I started reading it. I can't remember exactly where I stopped, but yeah.
Wait, this is the first time that you finished the book?
Indeed. Yeah.
Why?
So
Why didn't you finish
exciting.
it in middle school?
I don't know. I just sucked. I don't know.
What a juicy ending to miss out on, too. I mean, wow, they really went out with a bang.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and for some reason, this book just stuck with me for a while, and I was I spent 2 hours, a month ago, just idly at work thinking what the fuck was that book called? The one with the girl with the fucking bells cover. And I was like, what the hell was that? And I was just for 2 hours, and then I figured it out, and then I was like, you guys, we should read this.
I'm so glad that you recommended it because it was really fun.
I liked it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I have some notes. I didn't take notes throughout, which I kind of regret, but the important things I found examples of towards the end, so I wrote those down. And then, the parts that I really wanted to talk about, I remembered. So
Okay.
I feel good about that. Yeah, so that's awesome.
I was just going to try to keep it fresh in my mind,
Yes, I finished it today as well, so,
Yeah.
no shade on that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Tim Curry just read me the end of the book about an hour and a half ago. So it's fresh in my mind as well.
We're all on the same
Great.
page.
Did you guys all have a map?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Well, that
Did
was
you have a map?
that was a great sign right off the bat.
Yeah.
Opening up this book to see a map. It's like, oh, okay.
Well,
they're gonna enjoy that.
That's one of our most important things for a fantasy novel that we discussed in our first podcast episode. We said a good map is really important, and that you don't have to have. What did I say? I said anything that you mention in the book has to be on the map. I need to be able to see where it is, but you can have places on the map that you don't mention in the book. Because then that piques my interest, and I'm like, ooh, where's this place? Maybe they'll talk about it in another novel. But if you mention it, it has to be on the map. I want to see it.
That's what's up. Yeah.
You have to
And
be
I
able to find
loved,
it.
I really
Yes.
appreciated, at least in the mass market, 5x8 book that I have. Is this even 5x8? I don't think so. I think it's 5x7.5 or some shit.
Which is the one that I remember.
Yeah. Well, because you got to have that sick cover art.
It's an
Yeah.
amazing cover.
It's gorgeous.
It's great.
10 out of
Yeah.
10. And the map for these ones, the mass market, is on the very first page. So I didn't have to leaf through the first 3 copyright, dedicated to title page, all that bullshit, with other books. This bitch was the very first fucking page. So anytime I had to reference it, she was there. She was there ready for me, and I was ready for her. And it just made the ease of reading so much better.
Nice. That's
Quality
even better.
reading.
I ordered a a paperback set of the whole trilogy. Actually,
It's a trilogy?
Yeah, it continues on with Liriel and the final book, Ep.14, which is a term that is familiar to us now. Obviously, we're well acquainted with that. But yeah, the next book is 780 pages. So I don't know.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do that.
I googled it, and it's sorry, dude, the cider is hitting hard. I googled it, and it was is it from the perspective of one of the Claire? Is it
Is that what it is? I didn't get it at all.
I think it. Did you start reading it?
No.
Oh, okay. I think it might be from the perspective of someone else, but I know that Sabriel marries. I guess this is where spoilers start. now.
Here comes a spoiler, so don't be mad, we've warned ya. You've only got yourself to blame if you keep on listening and learn some things that you really don't want to know. If so, then go.
But Sabriel marries Touchstone, and then they have 2 kids. One of them is a princess, and then the other is like the soon-to-be a porcelain.
Oh.
So,
okay.
Yeah, and then they like touch on. So there were like the 2 blonde twins at the end that are like, here are the birds, get in. Those 2 are part of like the Clare, which is like the other charter blessed line.
Yeah.
And so like the next character that's highlighted is like one of them.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I have some just little quick fun facts about our author.
Oh, Mr. Garth Nix.
Oh, and
Garth
Mr.
Nix.
Garth Nix. Did you know that Garth Nix is Australian? He's from Australia, and he's currently 57 years old, but he was 25 when this book was published. So I don't know how old he was when he wrote it, but he was 25 when this became like a book for people to be able to read, which is pretty young and awesome.
That is
About my age.
Yeah, Max.
Yeah.
Where's your fucking novel?
I don't have a Sabriel in the works, guys. I have to say, I'm ashamed.
I bet
She
you
does
would write
hurt my
an
feelings,
incredible
too.
book. You're an amazing writer, Max.
Well, honestly, I just wanna get started on the fucking Sabriel movie. Like,
Oh,
wanna direct
yes!
Yeah.
You should write the screenplay.
it would rock. It would fucking kick ass.
Hell yeah,
I
it
don't
would.
know. I don't know who you would cast as Sabriel. That would be tough. If you could like debut somebody in that movie, that would be ideal.
So,
Yeah.
Falyn.
Yes.
Falyn could be Sabriel.
She's pale as fuck, dude. She's too pale. I can't.
Yeah,
She's
but
literally
Falyn,
described as pale.
Falyn, she cross-country skis, and so do you.
Yeah.
The whole time, every time she was on those fucking skis, I was dying because all I could see was Falyn with her arms like flung behind her back, skiing down a mountain. Did you know that Falyn used to competitive cross-country ski?
I did not know. That's
Did you know
That's awesome.
that Falyn placed last in I'm gonna say 40% of the races that she raced in. She placed last place, and when she didn't, she only beat maybe like 2 or 3 other people. Did you know that also?
Okay.
About Falyn's cross-country
Well,
ski prowess? Did you know that?
In a cinematic context, that sort of thing doesn't necessarily matter.
You don't need to be
matter.
a great skier. You just need to get on the skis, and
Which
they'll
I
just
can do.
yeah.
You know,
You can-
she's
you can do
described it as tall.
You're
and
tall.
so I have that. I'm tall. I can ski. I can ring a bell or 2. You know what I mean?
Damn.
Holy shit. I have 2 more fun facts about Garth Nix.
Yes.
Garth Nix used to work for I believe it was a book publishing company, or it was some type of book company, and he was a sales representative, and he traveled in Asia, in the Middle East, and in Eastern Europe. So maybe that influenced some of his map. I don't know.
Oh, it's inspired.
Yeah. But one of the coolest fun facts that I found about Garth Nix is that he writes role-playing scenarios for Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, very nice.
That's lit.
And I bet those would be great scenarios.
Yeah.
Can you buy those?
Huh?
Ooh.
Can you buy those? Like, does he do it
Probably.
recreationally, or does he sell like storylines for DMs?
I don't know. I didn't look into it. I just saw that that's like in his author bio. It's like something
Yeah.
that he does.
I wouldn't be surprised if you could like buy some like a campaign or something like that was like
Yeah.
written by him. That would be cool.
Yeah, it'd
That
be
would
really
be
fun.
cool. Monetize the shit out of that, Garth.
Yeah, Garth. But yeah, I mean, it's a great it's a very, very like evocative vibe you get from reading this book with the way that he writes certain things. Like I really enjoyed like just the certain turns of phrase that he used. Like right off the top, there's like one with the little girl at her college approaching her as she's reviving a rabbit. She's like raising a rabbit from the dead, and he describes this girl as like fear wriggles at the back of her eyes, and I was like, oh shit, that rocks. I love that.
There were a lot of those. I like when I read the kind of like not acknowledgments, but like the praise on the back before I started reading it. It was like a fantasy that reads like realism, and I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And I'm reading it, and I was like, oh, I fucking understand what they're talking about now. And like on page 428. It's like towards the end. I have to write down my pages or else I'll fucking forget. But like towards the end of the book when they're like in the truck and she like asks a question, but she's interrupted by the start of the car, and then she asks her question again because she wasn't heard the first time. Just like something as small as that, I was like, wow, I would have like as a writer, I would have never fucking thought of that. Like you really have to live inside your story in order to like even think to bring that shit up. Like you're just, I don't know, I feel like writing fiction, I'm just like pulling shit out of my ass. Like I don't know what the fuck is going on. But this guy is like, he's so established in the story that he just like, I don't know, I'm assuming he just like sees something happen and then incorporates it in text. But like, I don't know, all these like little tiny kind of like nuances throughout the story were super rewarding to read, and it was one of the only books I think that I've read that I enjoyed the writing as much as I did like the story. Like I enjoyed reading the way that he created the story, not just like me rooting for Sabriel and like hoping that she fucks something at some point.
I agree. I think that this book like I wasn't bored when I got into it. I think I had a rough start because I really wasn't giving myself enough time, and then also I felt frustrated because I didn't know like when the book was set. I knew where we were, but I didn't know what time we were, and that's never really touched on. So I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
It's ambiguous. Like the where she's in Ansel Steer, it's supposed to be like modern. Like there's like cars.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like
it was like 40s England or some shit. It felt like.
Yeah. Because they have like grenades and guns and cars, and then on the other side of the wall, there's all these like magic creatures and swords and, you know, like medieval feeling things.
Cool little like dichotomy to base the story around. Mm-hmm. But I agree, it's very vividly written. I loved like
there's
the realism of it.
There's another book like that, The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Holly Black wrote the Spiderwick Chronicles. She writes like really fantastical little magical stories. But the Cruel Prince is set in, like, the main character lives in the fairy realm, but she's like human, so she's from modern time as well. And it's like, it is like modern, like now, like they go to Target and they go to all these other places, but then she like crosses into the fairy realm and is like living basically like they have like all medieval things like swords and shields and things like that. So it's cool.
I love that.
They made that into a movie, I think.
Which one? Mm-hmm. The Cruel Prince?
Spiderwick.
No.
Yes,
Spiderwick.
the Spiderwick Chronicles. They did. I thought those were so cool when I was a kid. I loved that movie. Yeah, the books are really fun too.
Me too. That was like a prime time when like Spiderwick, and then there was like Bridge to Terabithia, and like all of these fantastical like fairy kind of like fae kids movies came out. Bro, I fucked with those.
Same.
So hard as a kid. Those were awesome. Like that, 6th grade.
That book fucking wrecked me, dude.
Bridge to Terabithia?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Jesus Christ.
Cried like a little bitch.
That And
little elephanting.
Where the red fern grows.
Oh,
that's
dude.
really not. That's not a
was-
fantastical book.
I was literally thinking about that as well.
Dude, we read that book in the 5th grade. And
Yeah.
in Miss Cypher's class, and she read the ending to us aloud, and I sat in my desk chair and I wept in front of the whole class. It was,
That was
so
literally
sad.
me, dude. Yeah, 5th grade, Mr. Barry's class. Like, grown man up there and being like, an old red. And it, like,
Yeah.
it was so
awful.
sad. But so good. Yeah, I love that book because that book, kind of like in the way that The Alchemist was, it has a good fucking grind. Like, the middle meat of the book is just that little boy just like collecting those coins for a couple chapters, and that was like, oh my god, dude, I loved that shit. I loved reading about a grind for like your dream. And then he goes to town and he gets like, I don't know, he gets like beat up by the bullies, but then the sheriff comes and is like, hey kid, you want a soda pop? And he's like never had soda before. And so it just like, and then he like carries 2 dogs home in a sack. And like, I just, oh fuck, dude. I fuck with Where the Red Fern Grows so hard. So hard.
Man, I gotta reread this because I don't remember any of that
Same.
shit.
I was just thinking the same thing. I was like, well, the dogs die. I know that.
I remember there's dogs.
No, guys, there's like a whole middle meat that is so satisfying. Because, like, the grandpa's like, he's like, I'm saving up for some coonhounds. And grandpa's like, what? Are you sure, kid? Those are expensive. And he's like, I'm going to save up $140 or some shit like that, which is just like buku bucks.
Well-
and it takes him 2 years to do it. And then
Falyn.
like he makes the money and his grandpa like gives him a bunch of candy and is like, good job, kid, go get your hounds.
I'm so impressed and like touched at the impact that Where the Red Fern Grows has left on you. It's beautiful.
I'm gonna know in my heart that you're not making fun of me, and I'm gonna say thank you.
You just know it like the back of your hand.
Bro,
You
it's
do,
just
you
a good
do.
book. I'm sorry that I remember the plot to like an informative book of my youth.
No,
I'm sorry.
I love
I'm
it.
sorry.
I do too. Oh my god. Okay, well, does anyone, I want to hear notes about Sabriel.
Well, can Max? I was hoping that you would honor us with a summary.
A summary? Oh, geez. Okay, I was afraid you were going to ask me to do something
If
like
you
that.
don't want to, I'm
No.
happy to do the summary, or I'm sure Paris is. But
Let's just tag team
Nice.
it, you know, like a little
Okay.
relay kind of deal.
And I'll butt in from time to time. How about that?
Okay.
Absolutely. So Sabriel is 18, and she lives in this college for girls, like a boarding school, I guess, right?
Yeah. It's
and,
kind of like Hogwarts, but only
But
for
small and
Yeah.
for ladies.
yeah, and they do learn magic there, but it sucks. Apparently, you find out. She is like a student instructor on the grounds there.
She's a prefect.
A prefect, yeah. But she's
She's a fucking TA, is what she is.
a TA, yeah. She's working on it, but she's also a necromancer, and that's the cool part.
Yeah.
Because her dad is a necromancer too, and he like taught her how to raise the dead, and that's how we're introduced to her.
Yeah, and
As I'm-
they're not just any necromancers either. They are the Abhorsen, which there's only one at a time, but it's just this like long family line of this like one necromancer at a time whose specialty is putting bitches to sleep instead of waking them up. And I don't know why there's only one, but everyone calls them the Abhorsen. And
There's
like,
just like the major one.
yeah,
you
it's just
know.
a one dude. Which I liked how she was like, oh, I thought that was just my dad's name. I didn't know.
I know. Everyone
yeah.
just calls him by his like last, because her last name is Abhorsen as well, right? It's not just
Is
like
it?
a title. It's like her last name, isn't it?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, maybe
know.
I did not. Maybe I didn't listen
I mean,
well.
you
I never
had
got
Tim
that part,
Curry
but-
on your side, so I don't know, dude.
I did
If Tim
have
Curry
Curry.
said so, I'll agree with him.
I feel like
So-
maybe I
Seriously.
heard that at some point, but I, can't confirm because
I'll defer to Tim personally.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So Sabriel, sorry, Max, continue, please.
So Sabriel receives a. How does she like? What notifies her at the start of the book? I can't remember. Like the
She's like waiting for her dad to roll up because it's like about
Right.
the time of the season where her dad comes to visit her. He's like his like astral projection comes to like hang out with her, I think. And then
Yes.
she's like daydreaming about Papa coming to like have a nice cup of tea with her like they do like the good old days.
And it's
but
late.
instead, yeah, it's late at night and one of her like flatmates, one of like the other students is like, Sabriel, there's some fucking shit. There's a fucking monster. Ah!
there's a
And
monster.
There's a monster. Sabriel goes, and it's like this kind of demon creature rolling up through the hallway or like through one of the main dormitories, and it's actually a messenger from the dead,
her
that
dad.
was sent from her dad. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, basically, it gives her the impression, oh my god, my dad's dead, right
Yeah,
off the
because
bat.
he's sending it from beyond the what, ninth gate?
Some gate.
Yeah.
Death.
So death is conceived of as like this river with all of these gates that you pass through, that like wind and twist and turn, and things can like stick between the gates and like accrue power as they just like stick there. But yeah, so her dad is somewhere in there, so she knows that her dad is dead. So that sucks. So right off the bat, she's motivated.
Man.
She's got to go. She's got to leave Ancelstir, which is supposed to be like 1940s Australia. I guess.
Yeah.
And she has to cross this huge wall that separates Ancelstir from the Old Kingdom, which is the source of all of the magic in this world. Is actually like this kingdom, which is the magic is referred to as the Charter, which is an interesting concept. I don't know. Can somebody fill in like what is the Charter?
So there are like
Okay, you go ahead.
There's like, all right, so there were like the Charter mages, and then there's the Clare, and then there's the Abhorsen, and those are like three like lines of folks. Or I guess most people can be a Charter mage, but like the Abhorsen and the Clare are like the two main homies, and then there were like the homies that built the wall, and this is like ancient history. And they established these stones that are called the Charter Stones, I think. And they are like the source of magic and shit, and also like a connection to the underworld as well. And so like it's like no one really knows where they came from. They just know that like these heritage lines, these like pedigrees, like have the strongest connection. And then they're like the Old Kingdom holds all of this history, and then like the wall was built for some reason, we don't really know why, but then like normal humans or like modern humans get to like hang out there while the Old Kingdom like festers in medieval magic death ways.
Yeah, things are real bad over there.
Yeah.
And so she has to go in there, and she makes contact with the like military garrison that guards this wall, and this guy Colonel Horace, I don't know.
Horse.
I said Horace.
Horse.
Horse. I read past this part in the book before I switched to Tim Curry, and I read it as horse, and then I was like, no, that's not right. It's gotta be Horace. But Tim Curry says like, oh God, what the fuck does he say? It's not horse.
Horace.
And it's something along the lines of that. And I was like, well, definitely not Colonel Horse then.
I mean,
It's
if Tim Curry says it, that means that Tim Curry was paid. Like, he had to be directed. It's Tim Curry. So I feel like whatever Tim Curry says goes. But it's also like whatever Tim Curry says is annoying a little bit at the same time.
Oh, man.
You don't like Tim Curry?
I do like Tim Curry. I'm just saying everything sounds so extra.
Well, he does. He just sounds really fancy.
That's why you get him.
I guess so.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Excuse my blasphemous mouth hole. I apologize. I did not mean. Forgive me. Carry on. Jesus.
And there are dead things like around the wall as Colonel Horse explains. And this is bad because her dad is dead, and her dad like bound all of these dead things, and the bindings are like dependent on him still being alive. So there's gonna be all these dead things that come up and fucking kill a bunch of people who are just like, da-da-da, I'm in the 1940s. They don't fucking know what's going on, you know? Like, they're not ready for this shit at all, you know? So that's
No,
bad.
they come and they take tourists visits to the wall. And they're like, look at that big old wall. Like, they don't know about magics.
No. They
Fucking
don't even,
Ansel Styrians, idiots.
they deny it exists, right? Yeah, they don't acknowledge it as existing. So she has to get in there, and she's got to find her dad, obviously, again. But first she goes to her dad's house, which is like the bat cave for the Abhorsen, you know?
Yeah. And on her journey there, she gets stalked by like the greater dead, a greater dead
right.
being.
Yeah.
The Mordicant. How did
Mordicant.
Mordicant?
Before she sees the Mordicant, which is how Tim Curry says it.
Okay.
She like rolls past this bridge with a bunch of dead people on it. And I just thought it was so cool that she like touches the charter mark and basically like watches a Snapchat that someone left.
A TikTok.
Yes. And they're like, what up, what up? I'm about to fucking die. This is what's going on.
It's
and
a
they
GIF.
like, yeah, they leave like a gif of them dying. And I just thought
it's like Dark Souls too, where you leave
Yeah.
your like blood stain.
Oh,
you
yeah.
like, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my God. It totally is like that. I only know that
Yeah.
because Brady is religious about that game.
Of course.
I just thought that was like a cool little thing for the author to include. It was fun.
Yeah, there were like so many variations of like the benefits of magic, and like it was like it's an expansive type of magic that can be used, which was cool, but also had like clear rules and drawbacks as well. Like I really liked the magic system in this book. It was pretty sweet.
So, as she is entering her the Abhorsen's house, she is being stalked by this Mordicant, which is this horrifying, like fire monster. That sounds really fucked up, honestly. All the descriptions of it, I was like, man, I don't want to get involved with one of those. So she like traps this thing on the outside of the house, and she is greeted by a sentient cat named Mogget.
God, I love
Fucks with
Mogget.
We
I
love
fucks with
Mogget, right?
What
We
a
all
good
love
boy.
I loved Mogget. Yeah.
Everybody
okay.
fucks with Mogget.
So this was my like first notes. Like I'm reading this book. I'm like, okay, Sabriel, we're 18. There's like hinting if she's like, I wonder what boys are like. I've just been in all this all girls school. I don't know what the world is like. I only know my dad. I only know dead people. I only know boobs. But I
Which,
think
by the
about
way, her dad sounds hot.
I know, dude. That first chapter about, like, the first chapter of the book is, like, you meet her dad, and it's, like, her origin story.
Mm-hmm.
Her mom dies, and, like, we assume childbirth, but I think there's also, like, maybe she's been, like, offed by a demon at the same time. We don't really know. And, like, the baby's dead. and this dude rolls up. There's like these traveling people who are like trying to save this woman who's died in childbirth, and this dude rolls up and he's like, "That baby's not dead," and they're like, "Yo, it's fucking dead," and he's like, "It's not dead. I am the," and he like opens his cape. He's like, "I am the abortion," and they're like, "Oh shit," and he's like, "And I say it's not dead. Am I not qualified?" And they're like, "Oh, no, you're right, dude." And he, like, goes into death. And then he fucking, like, snatches the baby out of this, like, demon's hands. And he's like, Caragor, absolutely not. And Caragor is like, "Oh, swiper no swiping." And he's like, "I would have gotten away with it." And then he gets, like, yeeted by the death river. And then a person comes back into life. And he's like, "See, motherfuckers, I told you it's not dead because this baby's my baby and I loved its mother and I'm going to name it Sabriel. Now, who's going to come work for me and take care of this child?" And like, wow, what a fucking literal daddy. I really felt for a person. You piqued my interest right away. I was really sad that we didn't get more of him.
Yeah.
That he died. That he was fucking dead.
Said that he's just DED dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets
bopped.
He gets yeeted, as you said.
He does.
But
he does get yeeted.
The cat. We were talking about Mogget.
Mogget.
Yeah, I didn't. Can I finish my thought?
Oh, yeah, no,
no, go ahead.
So Sabriel, right? She's like, "What are boys like?" I don't know.
Oh,
and then
sorry.
we meet General Horace, and I was like, or Colonel Horace, and I was like, "How old is this dude?" And then he's like, "I have a daughter your age," and I was like, "Okay, never mind." And then there were like some other soldiers, and one of them was like, "Hey," and she was like, "Hey, bye," and I was like,
pretty
"Okay,
much
never
every
mind."
new character, you're like, okay, can Sabriel fuck this person?
And I was like, yeah, I was waiting, and I was like, okay,
This
we're not gonna
Mordecant.
fuck.
What's up with this guy?
I know, the Mordecant, I was like, ooh, fire daddy, okay. And I was like, oh no, he's a bad boy, no. And then it was like, Thralk. And I was like, okay, no, we're not interested in Thralk. And then we meet Mogget, and I was like...
It's no play, man.
Thralk is...
They just
fucking negged so hard.
And they just mention him at the end for some reason. Do you guys catch that? They just mention him like,
no.
Yeah. She's like thinking about, oh man, that shit with Thralk sucked.
Oh yeah.
Like what?
I love how his body is just like stumbling and like the bones just like gristling together as he's like trying to climb this mountain.
Thralk's having a rough time, and I was like, wow, here is our first villain, and he just gets fucking yeeted so hard. Like, Thralk was just inconsequential, and I was like, oh, sorry, my guy. But I guess he was like a good intro, I don't know, Daedra. He was like a good intro demon, but
I kind of saw Thralk as Max. What's the name of that movie with the actor who plays Harry Potter, and he's dead. He's like a dead body, and Paul Dano rides his body.
Swiss Army Man.
Swiss Army Man. Falyn, have you seen that?
No. Oh. What happens to Daniel Radcliffe?
He's dead. He's dead the whole film. He's just a dead body.
Damn, no. I've not seen that. That's funny as fuck, though.
Yeah, I think you probably enjoyed that movie, Falyn.
Yeah, okay. It's really good. Right. But that's how I saw Thralk, as Daniel Radcliffe's dead body.
Oh, fuck.
But Sabriel wants to bone.
She wants to bone. We meet Mogget, and I was like, okay, are we about to fuck this cat? Because clearly it's not just a cat. I was like, there's a man in there. There's a man in that cat. And then, to my disappointment, there was no cat. But then we get rewarded, which we'll get to. We're almost there.
Oh my God.
But I just wanted to. I just want to share my mental process that was happening during this time, because I was like, it's got to be. I know. I can feel it in my bones. In this book, there's potential for romance. Where is it? And I was rewarded.
So I will say, I did think of this book originally because of the premise of your podcast, and because for some reason I did remember this book being kind of horny. I guess I was like, I guess that sort of stuck with me somehow, but maybe that was just me. Maybe I was just projecting at the time. But
Well, there's a dick in it.
there is.
There's a dick in this book.
Says penis.
It
actually.
does say
It
penis.
says penis. Circumcised penis.
I have the quote. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, I would.
The detail even extended to a circumcised penis, which Sabriel glanced at in an embarrassed way before looking back at his face. It's on page 204.
So that was like my turning point. I was like, we gonna fuck Horace? No. We gonna fuck this dude? No. Are we gonna get fucked by these various demons? No. Are we gonna fuck this cat? No. And I was like, there's a dick! We are gonna fuck! We're gonna do it, kids! Like, I knew. And I was like, this is love. We've made it. Huzzah! Only, 200 pages in, but we did it.
That's so...
It was so exciting.
Falyn, I want you to know that I wrote that quote specifically in my notes, and then underneath it, in all caps, I wrote, "Damn, Falyn." Because I knew.
That I would appreciate seeing poor Touchstone's little...
Peen?
Wood.
Yeah.
His little wood pee-pee.
There it is.
Oh, Touchstone. So yeah, we meet Mogget. I'm sorry.
Okay, so Mogget is a entity that is like contained within this cat, like thousands of years old, like magic monster creature, which rocks. And he's like a smart ass. He's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
And he is Sabriel's guide on this journey left behind by her dad. And he immediately starts directing her about what they're going to do. First, they're going to take this paper wing, which is like a little like biplane, like a little like...
It's a giant origami bird, essentially.
It's like a hang glider, some kind of thing, maybe.
Yeah, it's like a canoe with bird wings that turns into kind of a real bird.
It's just a giant, like, paper crane.
Yeah, it's a giant.
Like you said.
Origami bird.
Ormagami?
Giant.
Ormagami.
Origami.
Ormagami.
Holy fuck.
Oh my god. Could you imagine being like, oh my god, I love origami. Being like, excuse me? What is this? You mean origami, you uncultured swine.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. Ormagami.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
You're right. Never mind. I'm sorry, Ferris. You're right.
And
so yeah, they take the paper wing.
They crash the paper wing, and in the crashing of the paper wing, the binding around Mogget is broken, and he's like released. He's like an unbound, like free magic monster, and he tries
He's like a fire tornado demon.
Yeah, and he tries to kill Sabriel. And she has to like put a new collar on him, a new ring collar on him, which that was scary.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of sick though.
Yeah,
the fact that like Mogget was like, "Hey, listen, here's this ring. Just keep it for a little while. Things may get crazy. You may need to use it. I'm not gonna explain why, but I'm just gonna like give it to you." And then the ring becomes the collar that like recaptures his like free magic Tasmanian devil's spirit.
Yes.
And then like turns him back into a cat with the collar on it, but then he vomits up another ring.
Yes.
It's like
I love the cycle.
Cycle. Yeah.
You could do it again.
It's so good.
And again. Yeah, I really like that.
In case you need him.
In case you need him, you can do that.
And they do. Spoiler.
Yeah.
So they walk through this like tunnel where they crash.
Yeah, they're in like a sinkhole. They crashed in this big old sinkhole, which I couldn't really picture. I had a hard time with that.
Yeah, I wasn't really. Yeah, I just didn't really care about the sinkholes. Like, okay, you're in some dirt. Cool, you know.
I was just in my brain. I saw like the scene from the Goonies. You know, when all the kids like find the pirate ship like underground.
Okay.
That's really good. That's way better.
That's
than
what I was
thinking
seeing.
of.
That's pretty
That's great.
entertaining.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, it was really
I
fun.
stand.
So, they figure out that it is the like burial place of the royal family, though, while they're hanging out in there.
Yeah,
And
like the royal fleet.
yeah, and then they find a like statue, which is not a statue but a guy with a dick.
He's like, he's this wood statue, and he's like on the bow of the ship, like a mermaid would be, except it's him like being like, oh. And she's like, oh my god, he's all naked and stuff. That's crazy. And then she's like, whoa, I can see the veins on his dick. Maybe he's real. That's weird. Whoa.
Turns out he is.
He is. She was right.
He doesn't know what his name is. He doesn't know what's up. He just thinks his name is Touchstone.
And Mogget's like,
that's right.
You're gonna keep looking at that dick? Mogget like calls out Sabriel.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, how about you stop ogling and do something about it, pussy? And she's like, okay. So she like goes into death to go like rescue him. She's literally survived a plane crash. Her like cat familiar attacking her in its demon form. And then she's like, God, I want some dick. And so she like goes into the afterlife and like hauls him out at the risk of like being gotten by this like worm hog critter in like the beyond like the second gate or some shit like that. And she like hauls him out and she's like, it's not working, he's not moving. And Mogget's like, how about you give him a smooch? And she's like, oh my god. And she's like all embarrassed. She like breathes on his face and nothing happens. She's like, Mogget, you have me out here looking like an idiot. You're so crazy. But then he like wakes up and is like, thanks, bitch.
It
Romance. It worked.
And jumping ahead, like they did like put him in like the path for them to like find him, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was like that was intentional. It was all part of the plan.
Oh, was it really? What? Wait, whoa.
I think.
What?
I think like Karagor like puts it like makes that happen, right? I don't know. I think that's how they explain it.
Well, because isn't he Karagor's brother?
Yes.
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 Right. I had a question. The whole touchstone thing.
Yes.
He was like, I don't remember my name. And Mogget's like, how about we call you Touchstone? And he was like, that's a dummy's name. And Mogget's like, are you not a dummy? And he was like, I'm a dummy. And no Google search could help me out. What the fuck? That didn't make any sense to me. I was like, you don't want to pick a name? You don't want to be like Craig? I don't know. Like,
well, it's like a jester's name. And, like, jesters are fools, and so that's why Mogget's like, you're a fucking fool. Let's call you the name of a fool. Is that what you're confused
why
about?
Was he a fool? Why was he a fool?
Why was he a fool? Because he has such, like, low self-esteem because he fucked shit up with the queen. And his brother, like, murdered his mom, and he feels like it's all his fault. So he's like, I'm a dummy. I'm a fool. I deserve to be called Touchstone. And, like, also he can't remember his real name. Isn't that right?
Right. Which that doesn't get revealed to Sabriel until later. But yeah, this guy is involved with... I honestly kind of glazed over a little bit with some of this stuff. I was like, okay. Royal family, Karagor. Like, you know, this guy fucked up pretty bad. With protecting the queen and
I guess,
stuff.
Yeah. He, like, couldn't protect his mama very well. But, like, it's not really his fault. His brother was so OP.
Yeah, but he just has
his brother
poor
sounds
self-esteem.
like His brother sounds like Anakin Skywalker, just like killing all the younglings. You know.
Yeah.
Sounds messed up. So yeah, I wouldn't want to blame Touchstone personally, but that's how he feels.
I think I'm just mad because like his evaluation of himself early on kind of affected my evaluation of him throughout the story, and so I perceived him to be like a bit of a little bitch.
He is,
like the whole time, and I was like, "You ain't gonna change your name." Like there was no like name redemption. He wasn't like Mogget wasn't ever like, "You're a little bit less of a dummy now. How about you pick a name? I dub thee Kevin or something." You know, like
no, he's still Touchstone.
Then he becomes King Touchstone. He becomes King Dumbass. Okay, like I don't know why.
I mean, that was pretty cool.
It made me mad. So they fucking revive this dude, and he's like, I kind of remember stuff. I remember how to get out of the sinkhole. Let's get out of here. And Sabriel's like, listen, dude, I gotta find my dad's body, and that's how I'm gonna be able to revive him, because I know he's alive. He's just like dead, but he's alive. But I need to find his body. And they're like, cool. So they get out of the sinkhole, and then they go to...
They go to like a village.
They go to the
fishing village.
and people are like shooting things at them, and they're like, "What the fuck? We are friends. Don't shoot at us."
And they're like, "Sorry, we just thought you were the fucking undead that's taking over our town. Our bad. Excuse us."
Oh,
sorry, dude.
Pardon. Pardon us,
Porson.
ma'am.
Where the fuck have you been, stupid?
Yeah, we're doing your job.
And then they're like, okay, well, we'll kill one of your dudes because obviously he's infected by the dead. And then we're going to take one of your, like, 3 fishing boats, okay? We're going to sail across the continent. And they're like, all right, here you go. Here's our best boat for you. She's like, thanks. And then they make Touchstone sail that bitch for, like, 12 days.
Yeah, like 18 hours a day.
And he does it, too, because he's like, I'm the worst. I'm an asshole.
She's like, God, I just wish you'd fucking say something, just anything. He's such a fucking poor conversationalist.
It's like,
I guess he doesn't want to talk because he's been working so hard.
Making him row.
It's not that he doesn't want to talk, he's just exhausted.
He's fucking tired, you psycho.
He's like sweating and rowing as hard as he can, and she comes over. She's like, "What's up, Touchstone?" He can't talk. He can't muster the breath.
Talk to me.
He's like, do you want to help, maybe? And she's like, I don't know how to sail. I don't know. That's your fucking job. I don't know. The cat's like, faster, bitch.
God, poor Touchstone.
And they're like, do you know where you're even going? He's like, no, I've been fucking dead for 200 years.
No, he does recognize like the areas. He knows how to get around. To his credit, we don't want to rag on him too much, you know.
I'm more ragging on their treatment of him.
Yeah.
Like I don't think anyone's given
the
Touchstone
abuse.
enough compassion. He's not giving himself enough compassion. Like he needs a fucking therapist. He's been through a lot.
He really needs like a good self-care day. He does not take care of himself.
The skin,
He's had his dick
skincare
out for 2 centuries.
So they're sailing this damn boat around, and then they find finally Sabriel's dad, the Abhorsen, trapped in like a suspended animation kind of state or something,
Right.
like between life and death, I guess. So Sabriel has to go into death to retrieve him, but it's a trap. But they find out a little too late. So Karagor and his like undead army surrounds all of them, and then
Sabriel's like in the underworld, and she's like wading through the gates. He's like, what? He's past like the 4th gate or some shit like that.
He's
Like she
deep
goes
in there.
She goes pretty deep. She's deep in there. And she's like, Papa, where are you? And she like follows her intuition to like find her dad. And then he like yeets out of the water, and he like hauls her back to life. And he's like, listen, bitch, I only got 100 heartbeats, which is like, what, 10,000? 10,000 heartbeats? Is my math right?
Max?
Why yes? Oh, jeez.
You know better than I.
The math expert.
I think it's
yes.
10. He has like 10. He has like 10,000 heartbeats.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Max. I deflected because I feel the same way you do. I don't know the answer.
Hello.
So I was trying to give it to
That's
you.
why you're here.
It's your fucking book, Max. Why aren't you? How many heartbeats?
He's only got like a few, he's got limited time.
He's got limited time, and he's like hauling her back. He's like, dude, I only got fucking 10,000 heartbeats to live, and I gotta fucking help you with this shit. And she's like, God, why won't you just fucking hug me, Dad? You're
Why
fucking
won't you just
dying.
be my dad?
Why won't you just be my dad? And he's like, dude, we got shit to do. The world's gonna fucking die, and it's
like,
gonna descend
dude,
into evil.
Yeah, like, you've been familiar with, like, the really high stakes of this situation the whole time, and I don't really understand why you're being like this right now. This doesn't really seem reasonable at this juncture. The book's about to be over.
But I felt for her. I was like, yeah, Dad, be fucking better. Be better right now. Why don't you just fucking hug your daughter? And then he does. And he's like, hey, I'm sorry. I've been kind of a dick. I get it. I've not been the best dad, but I've always loved you, and I will always love you. But, like, I'm going to die now, okay? And you're going to have to fucking run. And it was, like, so sad. Papa. A little unceremonious, too.
Yeah, it's they have to have their quick little hug moment, and that's it. And then they cross back over into life, and her dad has to go take on Caragor, and she has to go grab a touchstone and get him the hell out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And while they're running, suddenly
He vomits.
they're like, oh my god, we want to die really bad. Like, oh my god,
Yeah,
dying
like,
sounds sick. And
so one thing that we didn't mention is, like,
like with anything about the bells?
anything about the bells whatsoever. So these necromancers, they've got this like bandolier, but it's not full of any
Do you know
weapons.
what this reminds me of? I have this very specific memory of growing up. My mom had this old like bell that's like a dinner bell, and she would, when my mom would get like headaches, she would lay in bed and ring the bell and like make me bring her tea and things. And so the bells were just like a reminder of like servitude to mother.
Jesus.
Hello? Sorry.
That rocks.
You guys were quiet for a second, and now I'm feeling like maybe my story wasn't funny. It was just too sad.
I was just taking it in.
We were just.
I'm sorry.
We were just. I think it was a moment of empathy. I think we were
Just taking it.
just taken aback a bit.
I'm sorry.
That every
Just
time Sabriel's like, which
just
bell?
soaking that one in.
Yeah.
That
every
happens to me
time
so
Sabriel-
often. Brady says, like, Paris, you try to tell stories, you try to be funny, and they're just these sad, traumatic childhood tales. like, fuck. Aw.
I think it's funny, Paris.
Thanks. You know, like you always say, we laugh to keep from crying.
Yes, ma'am. We laugh to keep from weeping. That's what we do. Yeah, and I like to. That makes me giggle. The fact that every time Sabriel's like, maybe I should pull Sereneth. No, maybe Kibeth. Maybe no. And anytime she's like, gong, that Paris just like gets a flashback of being like probably like 7 years old and like giving her mom like mac and cheese that she made but like burned her hand on the stove or some shit like
true.
that. You are Harry Potter. Do you know this?
It's you.
Then where the fuck Where the fuck are my powers?
Where's
What
your
the
letter?
hell?
Where's your letter, Perry?
Where's my letter?
Sorry, Booba. But we're touching
life
on a
is
really
unfair.
important moment of Sabriel where a Borson, her papa, is like fending off Karagor with his probably 8,000 heartbeats because he fucking wasted like 15 of them on hugging her stupid ass. And they like hear this bell ringing, and then they're like, oh, you know what sounds really good? Fucking offing ourselves. Let's
Being dead.
That nothing sounds more delicious than that, because that specific bell is like, everybody become the dead. Like, it really...
Yeah, it's like, everybody die now.
Exactly. Stay alive for what? And they're like, I can't think of a reason, but Sabriel understands what's happening because she is a necromancer
the bell is Astariel.
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 Astariel. Ass to real. Yeah.
Ass too real.
Ass too real. Damn. And they were like, ass too real. Shit.
So yeah, Touchstone is like, damn, ass too real
Ass
though.
too real though. And she's like, fuck no, stay away from the ass. Ass
No,
not real
you're
enough.
so sexy.
Yeah, and then to keep him alive, to bring him back to the present, she savagely kisses him and like rips his lip with her teeth and is like,
Yeah, she bites his lip.
yeah, she bites
I
him
like
real
that
hard.
detail.
Yeah.
He
And so,
bleeds. She
he
makes him
bleeds.
bleed.
like
Yeah.
consistently. Like, she's like, I pulled away, and then his face was streaked with blood from his lip, as if that wasn't her own fucking fault.
She just takes a fucking chunk
Yeah.
out of him.
But he's alive.
Yeah.
He
She
He
saved
lives.
him again.
he survives. So in that happening, by the way, Mogget gets released again. I mentioned earlier they were going to need to do that again. Guess what? They did. So they did it, and he's out. So it's like, but Sabriel's like, oh, he's dead, because
Yeah.
everything died.
She's like, Mogget, my dad, they've got to be dead. I felt death. It makes me sad.
Yeah, sad death. So then her and Touchstone have to go take another paper wing that the Claire set them up on, which are the other like bloodline that can do the magic and shit, and they have to go and destroy Karagor's like physical body, because all of the like magic can be ceased if you like destroy his like physical body that his like spirit is dependent on. But that is back in Enselcisir, our favorite place, where Sabriel comes from. So they have to go back and cross the wall again back to Colonel Horse and check in with him. And turns out the damn body is right by her dang school.
Again, just like The Alchemist. You know?
I
Because-
I
didn't
haven't-
read
when
that
he-
book,
I haven't read it.
but I did listen to your podcast about it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, listen to that. No, when he starts off and he's like sleeping in this abandoned church, and he's like, if only I were to be an adventurer. And then he like has a dream where God's like, your personal legend, bitch. And then he goes to a gypsy and she's like, your fucking treasures in Egypt. And he's like, okay. And then he goes to Egypt and he starts digging, and then he gets fucking mugged and beat the shit out of by like some bandits. And they're like, you fucking idiot. I was told about the treasure in a church in Spain, but I wasn't stupid enough to believe them. And he's like, haha, roll credits. And then he goes back and he digs up treasure at that same church that we fucking started in. And
Right under his nose.
right under his nose. That was all. But if y'all had read The fucking Alchemist, you would have known that. So.
Well, if Sabriel had read The fucking Alchemist, she maybe would have known that
She maybe would've
Karagor's
known.
body. She maybe would have fucking known that
Stupid.
Karagor's body is like right by the school. So they gotta go, and they gotta go.
It's like in the community garden at the school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they gotta get in there, and this is the worst part. They waste all this time getting everybody down there, and getting everything into destroying this sarcophagus, and then they're like, oh shit, we need all these girls from the school, and they've already spent an hour down there doing all this, and I was like, oh man, you guys are fucked. But they're not so they take the sarcophagus back into the school, and they round up all these girls that know magic at the school to help them like destroy this sarcophagus with this guy's body in there, and they fucking do it. They don't. They don't. Karagor comes back. He is fast. He's like coming with his army of like undead shit.
Yep.
And
they're all bones.
It's all dry bones.
Dry bones, but also like jelly flesh, like gooey flesh as well.
And bad breath. Oh, a sea of bad breath. It would stank so bad.
Yeah, the reek of carrion.
It's like my worst fear. Like, can you imagine an army of people with cavities coming towards you? Like, that's so terrifying.
Okay, Paris, would you rather...
Traumatizing.
Would you rather fight off 20, like, zombies, like undead, with bad breath, or one giant spider?
Oh, God. Oh, that's the worst. Well, do I have weapons?
You have, I don't know, Max, does she have weapons?
Or just my wits?
I think you have like a baseball bat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's it?
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all you
got. How big is the spider?
It's pretty fucking big. It's Shelob size.
It's Shaloob.
Yeah, Shelob.
Okay,
Shaloob.
what the fuck? Okay, all right, Max, how do you say it?
It's Shaloob.
Shaloob.
Mother.
What do you mean?
Fucker.
You
guys
win some, Shaloob some. You know what I'm saying, baby?
Tony Shaloob.
That's what I fucking brought up last week. Tony Shaloob from Monk. That's how you say it, Shaloob.
Anthony Shaloob.
Falyn.
So Karagor comes in to the school with his undead army.
Karagor comes in, and Sabriel whips his fucking ass.
I need to say, I think that I would choose probably zombies. Probably zombies over spider.
Damn.
Period.
Over 20 zombies over one spider?
Yeah, because like I can space out the zombies. I can run,
Fair.
I can jump on things, I can close doors. They don't know how to open doors. So I can go around, find other weapons and throw things from a distance. But spider is like here and now, and I don't want to face it.
Fair. Okay.
Spiders can close the gap.
Yeah.
Okay, Kiragor.
So Sabriel is facing off with Mogget first, actually, because turns out Mogget's not dead. Mogget comes back, and he's like, I need to kill this bitch, and Karagor is like, I am also trying to do that, though. And right? I mean, that's basically it.
Yeah, Mogget's like, finally, I get to fuck this bitch up. And then Karagor's like, I'm gonna fuck this bitch up. And so then they
I want to, though.
Face off. Then Mogget swivels around and is like, the fuck you say? And then they go head to head. But Mogget's no match for Karagor's gaping maw. Eats him.
Yeah, Karagor just like absorbs him.
Yeah.
Just like he just becomes
And then he
part
starts
of him.
digesting him.
Hot.
Just like probably belching,
Delicious.
passing gas.
Tasty cat.
Thousands of years old.
Yeah.
It's like an old Gouda.
Ooh,
Lots of
very
protein
nice.
crystals.
Very aged. Mm-hmm. And then Sabriel's left to face Karagor alone.
Mm-hmm.
And she does the old ring trick on him. Binds him to a new maggot collar. And I was disappointed because I thought that meant that Karagor was going to turn into a cat.
He does.
Personally.
He does. They
Wait,
start out.
Oh, they become like two little cats.
No,
Right,
they're
right.
like
Karagor and Mogget
Yeah.
come out of it. They get
Oh, they
reduced
do?
down, and then it's like a black
that's
cat
right,
and a
that's
white
right.
cat. So it's Karagor
But-
and Mogget.
At first,
Oh,
it's
that's
like
what. Okay.
at first it's like two cat heads on one cat body, and then it like gets split in twine.
That would have been cooler.
That's what I thought. I was like, oh fuck, Maggot and Karagor are gonna have to hang out all the time now, like
For
Share a
eternity.
yeah. No, and he's just a separate cat now,
Yeah.
That's kind of promising, I guess.
Yeah.
and cute.
Although, like, I don't know, I felt bad for Touchstone because, like, Sabriel and Touchstone, like, even before I looked it up, like, I knew that they were gonna shack up together, and I'm like, imagine having, like, for Touchstone first, imagine having like a pet cat that's actually your half brother that murdered your whole family and like petrified you for like 200 years, and then for Sabriel, imagine having like a pet cat that like fucking murdered your dad and deceived you twice and like is a two-faced bitch who also, when it's like not being a demon, it's just like a general asshole. And then also having another cat who your other fucking cat killed your husband's whole family and like also killed your father. Imagine having two pets that killed your dad.
A lot of baggage.
A lot of baggage.
But I guess they're just going to deal with it.
Yeah.
I guess it works out because they got 2 kids, apparently.
They
Yeah.
probably have like a cat time out for him because he's not a good boy. He's been a bad boy. He has to go into his kennel.
Or maybe his cat form is like the cutest, sweetest thing. He's just like, Mama, look at, I love you.
Yeah,
and
I
you're
mean-
like, oh, Carrie Gore, little Carrie. Aw.
You know, it's King Touchstone. They probably live in like a castle. There's probably a nice room to put the cats in. You know? Don't want to deal with them.
Cat prison.
Cat prison. But that's that pretty much makes it all right as rain in the
Yeah.
whole Old Kingdom, and Sabriel fucking dies.
Yeah, she gets fucking
She's-
impaled by Karagor. He takes her sword and he like stabs her through the middle, and she's like, "Fuck."
Yeah, she gets skewered,
Yeah.
and Touchstone is like, damn. And then
His leg's
In
broken. He
death.
can't do anything about it.
yeah, he can't do shit. In death, everybody's like, oh no, you can't be dead yet. Actually, I know we just told you that everything has to die at a certain time, but actually no, you can't die yet because nobody's gonna be the Abhorsen after you.
Yeah,
You
they're
have
like,
to-
"What the fuck
get
are
a
you
new
doing
one."
here, dude? What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Get up.
Get the
your
fuck
fucking
out."
ass up." And she's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa! What the fuck? I've been like fucking impaled, dude. I just like killed Karagor. My
She's been
man
run through.
survived. I've been run through, dude. Like I don't know what the fuck. Like you've always told me that like everything dies, and they're like, no, not you, bitch, you dumbass. Get the fuck up." And then like in my book, that's the after.
Yeah,
story.
it's the
That's like the epilogue.
It's the epilogue. Yeah.
That's what. Okay, so I was listening to this on audiobook, and Tim Curry's like, and then Sabriel dies, and I was like, fuck, and then he goes epilogue, and I was like, oh my god, what? Like I didn't realize that was the end of the book. I was just thinking that Sabriel gets bopped and that's the end, but I was glad to see her revived.
Imagine if you didn't read the epilogue.
Yeah, he just ends it there.
You know,
You're just sad.
Like,
epilogues are
God.
not optional, I guess now. Vital
Oh,
information.
I never thought an epilogue was optional.
I mean, I don't know. Like, why wouldn't you just include it in the main meat of the book? I feel like the epilogue for me is like 20 years down the road where she's like, it's like, Sabriel was going down the steps, and the knight said, evening, ma'am, I mean, abhorsen. And then she's like, husband, who's still named Touchstone, and that doesn't bother me one bit. Come, let us have dinner with our children. Like, that's what I think of an epilogue as. Not as, like, the next 15 seconds where, like, the heroine gets revived and, like, enables a sequel.
Yeah, this book stays with the meat of the story.
I guess, you know. All right.
But that's like the end.
That's it.
She gets revived, and she and Touchstone are happy pals. That's it.
Yeah.
They're gonna get shacked up.
Yeah, they gonna fuck.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Just what you needed.
Just what I needed. Implied.
Just need the broads to get smashed.
They gotta
Bring
be
out the
jiggy.
girls.
Oh, Paris, I'm curious as to how you felt about Touchstone as a love interest.
Interesting. I was telling Brady as I was like reading and listening to this book that I didn't really feel very connected with Sabriel. I never, like, it's kind of hard. I was like, why am I supposed to care about her character? I think that she is well written. I think it's a well written book, but I think the story is fantastic. I wasn't as involved in the characters as much as I wanted to. Maybe that's because I listened to it on audiobook and didn't read the whole thing. But her relationship with Touchstone, I felt like happened because he was the only man she's ever met and talked to. And it was just, maybe that was fate, but it felt like it was a little too, what am I trying to say, structured or forced. Does that make sense, like what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I think I wanted more character development from both of them and more relationship development between the two. It felt like it happened really quickly, and I
Rushed.
Yeah.
Little.
And I want to fall in love with my characters instead of just, seeing the narrative of like, oh, they're going to get together and that's happy and yay, everyone wins. Like, I want to also fall in love and be happy and win. So I didn't really feel as connected with the two of them as I would have hoped to be. What about you?
I like for Touchstone, I was like kind of battling with my own views, I guess, on like masculinity, and I was like, will you stop fucking crying all the time? God damn. Like I was getting like mad at him because he was like being kind of like a little bit of a bitch sometimes. But I was like, okay, Falyn, listen. His whole ass family's dead. Give the guy a break. He's been sailing this boat for just like days, weeks. He's doing his best, okay? He watched his brother like murder his mom, like sacrificial style. So like I had some empathy, but I think what saved Sabriel for me from like viewing it that way was like she, like I mentioned before, like it's already kind of set up that she's guy curious. She's like, what are boys like? I don't know. I never like met one really. And so she's like thinking about that. She's still like an 18-year-old. So she's kind of thinking the way that I was. And then when she meets him, she's like, don't look at his dick. Oh my God, crazy, but also a boy. And he's still like nice and sweet. But then also we like we're learning about her thought process. And she's like, God, I wish he wouldn't just be such a fucking petulant little bitch about everything. I wish he would stop like acting so like self-loathing and having such like exaggerated humility. Like, bro, have some fucking confidence. Fucking say something. Have some authority with your life. And so I liked her. I liked that he like shared her thought process. And I felt like in the way that the author added those like little bouts of realism, he also added that with her. So, like, there was one point towards the end where she's, like, trying to be confident because she knows everyone's watching her. And she's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. but all these people are looking to me to like save their lives in the world. And so she like watches the colonel, and she's like, he smiled and he looked confident. So I tried to smile too, but I just looked fucking weird. So then I stopped smiling. And like these little like decisions that she made, or like observations that she made, or her opinions on things, I felt closer to her, because even if I necessarily wouldn't have been exactly the same as she was, it showed that she was like a person, and she was imperfect. And even though it like wasn't the sexiest thing that those two were imperfect, I liked that like they were still allowed to be, which is not something that you see in like Sarah J. Maas novels. I mean, everyone's OP. Everyone always comes up with the right thing to say, and everything always works out. And I was like, I would have believed it if that bitch died at the end. I would have been like, God, that sucks. But like, she did what she had to do. It was messy, but like,
she saved the day.
She saved the day. She did what she had to do. But like, I don't know. So I vibed with her, but I found myself being like, God, why can't you be more perfect as a dude? Why do you have insecurities and doubts of yourself, Touchstone? That's so annoying. And I was like, oh, Falyn, maybe we should do some inner work on that. That's not a realistic expectation.
Damn. A little bit of introspection.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
What about you, Maxwell? What do you think about their relationship?
I agree with you. I can see certainly the criticism that it is too rushed. I mean, I think that's kind of just like, I don't know, I feel like that's just the nature of the book. It's like a thriller, I feel like.
Yeah, it's really fast-paced.
Yeah, it moves very quickly from like scene to scene, and there's like always something chasing them, you know? There's like always some like imminent danger. So I guess it felt reasonable along those lines, but it was also like, yeah, kind of obligatory, you know, like, oh yeah, of course, there's got to be somebody to smooch.
Abhors.
But it felt kind of earned when it did happen, I guess. I don't know. Made sense to me. Like, oh yeah, they can't die, so they've got to kiss.
You're right. I mean, Mogget even says, he's like, well, you have to start kissing someone, so might as well be him.
And then it was like, he wasn't just like any random bitch. He's like the heir to the old kingdom.
Yeah.
As well. And he was like a worthwhile soldier. Like, he had fighting skills. And he had like some brain power. And in the end...
He's a bastard. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, like, I don't know. I feel like they were equals, I guess, in, like, their paths.
I have another note that's not really on the same topic, but I felt like it was interesting reading a book where the main character is an 18-year-old girl and the author is a 25-year-old man.
Yeah.
I've never read a book like that before, and it reminded me, there were a couple moments where I was like, I haven't read Carrie by Stephen King, but I know the story and I've seen the movie, and it reminded me of that, like specifically when Sabriel is thinking of like, oh my God, like, a man, I don't really even know anything about men, and I don't really even know anything about womanhood, and I've only learned about what menstruation is because of the girls at school. And like, there's a line that I wrote down. It says, like, menstruation, like the girls at school will use menstruation as a scare tactic from the older girls. And I said, like, what? Like, it just makes me think of that scene in Carrie where they're like throwing like sanitary napkins and tampons at her. Yeah, and I was thinking, like, is this what are men really? Are you scared of blood coming out of vaginas? Like, why do we need to have this be such a scary thing? And like, it's, you know, it's like a scary, traumatizing thing that happens in Carrie, which is written by Stephen King, and that was his first novel. So, you know, then this book, like, this guy's 25. I don't know if this is his first novel, but I just thought it was interesting that he also like brings up menstruation as this, like, terrifying, like, scare tactic used by other women to, like, scare each other.
Yeah. And I guess that's where, like, the book shows its age. So, like, in the, like, little blurb about Garth in the back of my book, it says he was born in 1963. So that means if he was 29 when this was released, it was 1988. If my math is right.
25 when this was
25. Released. Sorry. If he was 25, then it would have been 1988 when this book was released. So
well, my copy says that maybe I have his age wrong, because my copy says that it was first published in 1995 and the copyright is for 1995. Does yours say that?
Yeah, 95 is
okay.
Is when the
well then weird. Well, but still, like, yeah, so he's like older dude, older compared to us and compared to Sabriel.
He was 32. Sorry, I just did the math. 32. He was 32. Gotcha. Not 25. I'm sorry.
It's all good. He was a 30-year-old man in, like, the 90s.
I got
writing
time.
About an 18-year-old.
What, Max?
I got time. We were saying earlier, it's
it takes the pressure off. You got time, Max. You got time.
To get my Sabriel out.
Yeah. You can write your screenplay. It encourages me. I can write my graphic novel. Like, we're good. We got it.
That's right.
We got time. Yeah. So, out of 5 stars, Paris?
Probably like 3 stars out of 5. Mm-hmm. I thought that it was a fun book with a fun, fast-paced story, and I did enjoy listening to it read to me by Tim Curry. But I think that there could have been better character development, and that is all I have to say.
Yeah, it was a slight weak point for sure. Yeah, 3 out of 5. That sounds right to me as well, I have to say.
I'm going to give it 3.6. I liked it. I liked it a lot. And I agree. It was fast, and I think the lack of emotional attachment I have to it and the characters is made up for in my opinion, the stellar, like, writing style. So yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3.6 because I think I liked it more than you, Paris, but not enough to give it like an 80%.
Sounds good.
Didn't quite earn the 4.
I mean, 4
next time, Garth.
Maybe next time, Garth. Give us more dick, Garth.
Max, it was so much fun.
Try uncirced next time.
Oh my god. Holy shit.
TBH, Garth, why you gotta chop off that dick skin? Leave the foreskin alone. Come on, Garth.
Leave it.
You
were saying, Paris?
Well, I have no comment on that. But I was just saying, Max, I'm so happy that we had you on the podcast. It was so much fun to, like, hear your perspective and have you give us the like, plot overview. That was so fun.
I was glad to do it. I'm glad that we enjoyed Sabriel, and it was a great time.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, good recommendation.
You are our first recommendation, like, guest starring recommendation. So this was like really fun to do.
I'm honored to be the inaugural guest.
Of course.
Brady is gonna be next. He's already picked out his books. He wants us to read the first 2 Wizard of Earthsea books, but they're very short. They're something like 120 pages each, so they won't be too long to get through. So we're going to read the first 2 and then discuss them with him.
Mm-hmm. Wizard of Earthsea.
Yes, by Ursula K. Le Guin.
Yes, okay, cool.
Yeah, yes, I know those books, those novels, yes. See?
I'm familiar with them indeed.
All right. Final thoughts? Final words? Anything?
Sabriel, love it.
Sabriel.
Great time.
Sabriel. 5 stars out of 5 stars would recommend listening to the audiobook performed by Tim Curry. It's a great time. I probably wouldn't recommend listening to it at 1.3 speed maybe take your time and savor and enjoy that story. But
As with most books, I think your perception of them is going to be a little bit better when you're not rushing the experience.
At normal speed.
You know how this book felt rushed just like reading it? Imagine listening to it really fast.
Oh boy.
Everything was
imagine Tim Curry just trying to get through a session.
He was just chugging through
just
it.
like, all right, boys, let's get this over with.
Tim
really
Curry
made-
speed running Garth Nix.
It made everything feel extremely suspenseful, so it was fun.
That
What
rocks.
a ride. Shit. Hey. All right.
Tim Curry, everyone.
Tim Curry. Till next time, folks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.